Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.
I think when the consulting firms come on campus, they narrate these beautiful stories and they have students hooked. Stories are you will have breakfast with the NASCOM CEO, you
Right.
will stay in the Taj Lands End every day, Bikram Oberoi will know you by first name, you will take 100 flights a year, your training will be in Manhattan, and
Right.
after 4 years you will get the most beautiful girl in the world. I think these stories that are built, I think consulting firms do a really, really good job.
All right, guys. Hi, welcome to another episode. We've been talking to a lot of interesting professionals, and one thing that we've seen in common is that a lot of them, even when they're doing traditionally great things, are also doing something new, something that is an X factor in their careers. And it sort of gives us a direction on how we think the careers are going to be of the future. With that in mind, we've got someone today who's had a very conventional, great background. He's from IIM Bangalore. He's worked at a bunch of very good firms. He's worked at Accenture. He's worked at PwC. He's interned at BCG. He's worked at Marico. So a very true blue IIM grad, top IIM grad profile. But then he's also gone on and done some things that IIM grads don't often do, but when they do, it makes news. And that means he's written books, he's written columns, he's built his own brand as well online. So we're going to talk about these things. Sandeep, thanks a lot for doing this with us.
Thank you, Kunj. Thank you for the opportunity. I should first of all congratulate you guys on what a fantastic job Inside IIM is
Thanks a
doing.
lot.
And when I was a student, this platform wasn't available, and I really
Right.
wish it was available when I was a student.
Thanks a lot, Sandeep. Appreciate it. Sandeep, I'm going to directly come to your first question, and this is a very crowd pleaser kind of question, and I think that's a good one to start with. I want to understand what was your experience at IIM Bangalore like? So, like, if you could give me three punchlines to describe your experience, the 2 years at IIM Bangalore, the fabled top school in India, so many people always vying to get into it, very few managing to get into it. What was your experience like in those 2 years at IIM Bangalore?
Kunj, I think it was a fantastic experience, but and this is something you would have heard. But I'll talk about personal experience, what the institute really taught me. It is a no-brainer. It gives you a brand name, it gives you opportunity, it gives you a network. All that is given with a brand like IIM.
Right.
What IIM Bangalore really taught me is set me up for long-term success. It was at IIM Bangalore that I used to do academics. I used to be an elected leader. I used to be in clubs, and that system actually taught me that one guy can actually do it all. It's the first time. It's a mental to shift you need to make, and I think that's what IIM Bangalore taught me.
Right.
And that belief has held me in very good stead as I've done a corporate job, a brutally difficult consulting career, written books, spoken, and I think that's the biggest contribution IIM Bangalore has made. So for all your students who are listening to this conversation, it is the beauty of the institute is that irrespective of who you are, what your style is, what your background is, you can find a place at IIM Bangalore. It accommodates every type of person. Somehow, at least during my time, the perception was you had to be God's gift to mankind to get into an IIM, right?
Right.
And really a top IIM. Now,
Right.
when you go to an IIM and you will meet your peers and your friends, and you will realize they're very normal, uh, middle class, intelligent, hardworking people, and they're a very normal group of people. They're not God's gift to mankind. I think that's a
Right.
big hype in terms of what the institute does. So, and honestly, if you come to it, when it comes down to CAT, and CAT used to be written during our time,
Right. Right.
the difference between an IIM Bangalore and a top 20 institute, number 20 institute, used to be one good guess, because a guess used to be like 3 points, and it could straight get you into an IIM Bangalore versus outside.
Okay. Let's talk about what you did immediately out of IIM Bangalore. You went and joined a sales and marketing role at Marico. Marico has been recruiting on campuses for years, but you left that in a year. What turned you off sales and marketing in such a way that you never returned to it afterwards?
So actually, I had a fantastic time in Marico. I used to do my sales stint in Haryana, Punjab. I had a marketing stint in South Bombay, literally. So I had a phenomenal time in Marico. Thing was, I always had this glamour for consulting. Most people who go into business school have this glamour for consulting, and a good consulting opportunity came. I think when the consulting firms come on campus, they narrate these beautiful stories, and they have students hooked. Stories are You will have breakfast with the NASCOM CEO. You
Right.
will stay in the Taj Lands End every day. Vikram Oberoi will know you by first name. You will take 100 flights a year. Your training will be in Manhattan. And
Right.
after 4 years, you will get the most beautiful girl in the world. I think these stories that are built, I think consulting firms do a really, really good job. And to a certain extent, even the seniors pass it down. I think that's where the real glamour of the industry comes from.
Okay. And you seem to be really sold on it, Sandeep, considering you went to BCG for your internship, did 6 years at Accenture as a consultant, and now at PwC, you've been there for over 3 years now.
Yeah.
So, you completely bought into it, or did you realize it was something else and that's something that you liked about consulting?
The honest thing is maybe I'm not recruitable elsewhere. Maybe this is the only industry that can give me a job. But I mean, I don't want to sell the industry. It's been sold enough. But there are certain
Right.
benefits the industry does. You will get to travel to places no other industry can. And this is not the fancy international locations that most careers will give you. I had the opportunity to go to the Kumbh Mela. I have had
Right.
the opportunity to visit most border areas, most villages in India, to understand the heartland of India. I think those are
Right.
opportunities which a consulting firm will give you. The kind of people you will meet. Uh, I presented to a lot of CEOs, and it's a different kind of kick. You'll meet some very fantastic people at your workplace. So those are some nuances are there. But behind the glamour, you should also realize there is a certain amount of ugly truth. The work hours are brutal, and no matter how every consulting firm says, "Oh, we are very people friendly," the work hours are brutal, and it is fairly a dog eat dog culture, irrespective of the firm you work for. So that is something you get used to.
Right. One is getting used to it and being able to do it every day, but you seem to have found some sliver of time in that crazy schedule, because beyond consulting you're doing a bunch of things. You've written quite a few books, you are a regular columnist with a lot of top magazines, and you also make appearances in business schools and all kinds of campuses. Where do you find the time, and what is it that consulting is not satisfying for you that you're trying to scratch by doing these other things?
So one, I think I've had a fantastic ecosystem. My support from my friends, support from my parents,
Right.
mentors in office. That's definitely been there, and I think you need that kind of ecosystem support. The second thing which I've done is I get up early every morning, and I think that's the secret to success for anyone. So I get up at 4:45. I've been doing it for 10 years, and I
Wow.
spend 2.5 hours dedicated every day for this alternate profession. And I think over a period of 10, 11 years, if you give 2.5 hours at your peak intellect capacity every day, things will start moving after some time. So I think this is
Right.
what has really helped me in managing to do that. Just to your second question, what is not satisfying about consulting is it's not about satisfaction, but this is one of the great trends. And once we talk about my book, I'll tell you that most millennials this decade, including people like you and I, will look to have a primary career and look to have a secondary career. A primary career, which is more from a designation, title, money, social respect perspective, and a secondary career in terms of what is really that nourishes your soul. It could be a creative pursuit, it could be baking, it could be cooking, it could be running.
Right.
And I think millennials will have a combination of this. And it's a second career, that interest in writing and speaking, which is actually driving me towards.
So one of the things that we notice a lot of students face is this acute lack of mentorship. Uh, you have parents, you have friends whose experiences are not similar to yours, whose concerns or ambitions don't align with yours, and hence, you have that kind of access to the kind of mentorship you require at a particular stage in your life. What do you think the students should be doing to get that kind of mentorship? In fact, we've also signed you up as a mentor on Council, which is Inside IM's mentorship program. Why do you think students should take up mentorship, and how do you think you can help them?
True, sure. So actually, Kunj, if you see from a support perspective, it's actually at two levels. One is emotional support, which a family and friend gives. For example, when things are not going well, you think of quitting. And that's when the family and friend comes and take a day off, do this, do that. So that's
Right.
one level of support, which I'm assuming most students have with that ecosystem. The second support, and that is critical, is in terms of mentorship. For example, I've been very fortunate to have a professor from London Business School who's been mentoring for a long time, and he will actually tell you that, okay, you are trying to do this. The next stage of your career, these are the three things you have to do. You have to engage to this kind of audience, this kind of medium, this kind of content.
Right.
And that mentoring is actually worth its weight in gold. And similarly, for students who are looking to just start off their careers, they will have so many questions of how do I change industries? How do I change jobs? Should I do entrepreneurship now? Should I do it later? And someone who's had the experience of 10, 12 years, gone through all of this, seen the pluses and minuses, has a bit of age on his side, I think has a lot of advice, tangible, practical advice to offer. And that's what I think I signed up for the platform.
I think one of the things, Sandeep, that make you special is also because you understand this cohort of students really well, because you've been doing research, and
Sure.
I think your latest book also talks about it. So tell us a little bit about your latest book and what's it about. And yes,
Yes. So one thing you'll realize I'm good at is fair degree of doing self PR. But
right,
on a serious note, when I've spoken to about 250, 300 millennials, and this was 2, 3 years ago, and I've spoken to 100 corporate leaders, and it is scary in terms of what they say. So the corporate leaders have told me that 95% of millennials are not ready to succeed professionally and not ready to succeed in their personal lives. Now, when you talk to the millennials, they will say that the education system we've been a part of and the corporates we work for don't really understand us and don't equip us with skill sets that we need to succeed. So, the
right,
millennial here, there is a corporate here, and there's a huge gap in between.
right,
And that is what essentially this book tries to bridge in terms of that. So, how does this book, Hacks for Life and Career, try to bridge it? Is I try to identify what are those missing gaps and try to write a commentary on that. So I'll give you 2, 3 examples. One, from a core concept perspective, in business education, over 2 years, we go through 50 textbooks. But in the real world, if you're a business professional, there are only 20 or 22 concepts that you need to know with real world examples. So I've highlighted those 20 and 22 and said, master these, 80% of your day should be done. I'll
right,
give you another example in terms of entrepreneurship. There's so much literature on entrepreneurship and there's so much buzz around entrepreneurship. Some of the reality of it, the brutality of it gets missed out. So I have a specific section in terms of how do you actually build a firm? What are the mistakes you should avoid? When should
right.
you go on an entrepreneurship journey? Or for that matter, the biggest area that came forward is personal finance. And in terms of
Absolutely.
students say that we study MBA and we do MBA finance, but we don't know what to do with our own money. Where do we invest? How do we invest? How much should we invest? And this was amazing, even with my batchmates, it came out that some of them handle, they work at investment banks and they advise large corporates, but they don't know what to do with their own money.
Right.
And this is an entire section on personal finance that I have. Similarly, for younger millennials, people who are probably listening to this, in terms of how do you actually crack a group discussion or a personal interview? And once you come to a business school, how do you get that summer internship? How do you get the final job? Business school is not just about placements, about
Right.
many, many more things. So how do you maximize that? I think a lot of that commentary is what this book tries to capture.
What does a director at PwC exactly do? Like, what is it that you handle from a day-to-day basis, and what is your typical day like?
See, from a role perspective, it's a leadership role. And what I typically do is you have to run large accounts. So you engage with a lot of CXOs and you have to manage a lot of large accounts in terms of both sales and delivery. So typical questions are a company will come to you and say that the world is changing so fast. What do I do to be ready for 2025? And that's what you help a company in its
Right.
journey. So that's the kind of work I typically do, engage with a lot of leadership, do a bit of sales, do a bit of delivery, handle a lot of millennials who work for me, manage them, manage their careers. And that's a typical day that it looks like. It's a lot of senior management interaction, it's a lot of team discussions. The days are long, and it's about creating solutions for them.
Interesting. So we talked about your past, your present, and you given us a door to talk about the future now, which is that you work with millennials. That is the first thing. Second is that the fact that companies come to you to future-proof themselves, to understand what the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years are going to be about, and hence prepare themselves for it. In your research, in your work, what have you noticed in terms of how the future of work is going to be?
A typical career will be this, but I'm going to say, I'm not going to exaggerate this, that you pass out of business school, do 3 years in an e-commerce firm, then you go to a consulting firm, then you decide to take a sabbatical to travel the world, then you come back, join the NGO sector, then you do your own startup, and then you come back to consulting. So it goes
Right.
all around the place, and this is going to be the norm, not the exception. So careers are going to be non-linear. The second thing you will see is careers are going to be multiple. People will have a primary career, people will have a secondary career. This is one big trend that will happen, and people will actually recognize themselves with a secondary career, and the primary career will be more for status and their money. So this is the second big trend that is likely to happen. The third big trend that you will likely see is that millennials will expect a lot of respect for their private time. So slowly over a period of time in India, you will see weekends will start becoming sacrosanct. People will stop. It's difficult in a country like India, but it will start happening. People will say that I will not attend calls after this time because I have to go running, I have to do yoga, I have to do this. So the personal life will start becoming very, very important. And the fourth big trend you will see is the concept of education, management education and corporate education will change a lot. What they are studying today and what
Right.
they will study in 3 years, I think will be completely different. So these are the 4, 5 key big trends that I see from the future of work perspective.
One of the things that I realize when I talk to a lot of professionals now is that you have to earn the freedom to make your secondary career a primary career. It's not something that is given to you on a platter. So when millennials complain that the companies are not understanding them or not giving them the kind of opportunities they are passionate about, it's the fact that you have to earn that opportunity. A career spanning over 10, 12 years where you've built a reputation and an equation in a conventional industry gives you that kind of luxury to now explore a second career as your primary career. Thank you so much, Sandeep, for doing this. We appreciate you taking out time, and we are looking forward to a lot of students coming in and getting mentored by you as well. We understand you've had a unique journey and you've always been proactive and taken initiative to do well in your career. So I think students will learn a lot by getting mentored by you. Thanks a lot for your time, Sandeep. Hope you have a great Saturday. Cheers.
Thank you, Kunz. Thank you for the opportunity.
Hi guys, Inside IM has come up with an exciting new one-on-one mentorship product where you get to interact with superstar managers from different businesses, different functions. You can ask them everything around your career, your education, your future success. If you are interested, the link is in the description below. Thanks.